So in my last video, I did a comparison, but I don't think it was fair. I was comparing the SRAM GX AXS versus the Wheeltop EDS OXYQ. And in that video, the EDS from Wheeltop was shifting so much better than the SRAM. But I think it's because I didn't have this SRAM properly tuned. Something must have been off with the B gap. There's no way that the EDS performed that much better. So in today's video, we're gonna find out. I got my friend Zach coming over. He's a professional mountain bike mechanic. He's gonna help me tune this SRAM AXS, get this thing dialed in, shifting as good as we possibly can. And then we'll do one final test, back-to-back shifting, SRAM versus Wheeltop. Which one comes out on top? Stay tuned and find out. So Zach, the issue this was having is when I was shifting, whenever I'd put any like load into it, it would shift down the cog fine. But when it was going up the cog, it was just grinding gears. I couldn't shift like rapidly at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, what it could be is the B tension could be set wrong, or we could just need to do a small micro adjust on it. But
okay, yeah, I figured since I'm already gonna do the adjustment, like the point of the video is getting to like the shifting, but I figured I may as well walk you through like how to troubleshoot your, AXS drivetrain if you're having issues with that.
Yeah, it's a little slow shifting up, like you see.
Yeah.
So to fix that on these, instead of having a barrel adjuster, you just hold the AXS button and click the shifter in the direction that you want to make the adjustment. So if it's not going up, you hold this and it'll do your little bit of micro adjustment. There we go. Definitely shifting better going up.
And then when you were doing that, you were just watching on the cog to see if it looked like it was wanting to skip still a little bit?
Exactly, just hearing for any noise. Then I'm gonna stop here and we're gonna check our B tension.
Okay, so that one was making sure that the derailleur was lined up with, the pulley wheels were lined up with basically the cog that is supposed to be on the cassette, right? Yep. And now we're gonna check the, where's the B gap screw on this one?
Is back here behind this little cover actually. So you can get to it without the cover, but it's easier if you pop the battery cover off. There we go.
Okay, so you pop that battery cover off.
3 mil right here.
And the B gap is right there. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna push on the derailleur, and that's adjusting it basically this way, so it's adjusting the gap in between the pulley wheel and whatever cassette it's on, right?
Yep.
Okay.
SRAM makes it nice if you have a 51 or 52 tooth big cog, which this has. You can actually put it in the second biggest cog. Put this guy on here.
Okay.
And then you can just rotate it down.
And that just comes with the AXS kit, right?
And
when you buy them or whatever.
It's a little bit off, so, and it's actually off in the direction that would cause it to grind. So you want that arrow to line up with the pulley wheel bolt.
Okay.
So in other words, we need to add some
okay, I see that right there. It's adjusting just a little bit.
So now that we do that, it's probably gonna shift a lot smoother. So it shifts way smoother now.
Yeah.
That was probably the main issue. I mean, we needed a little bit of micro adjust, but these 12-speed SRAM drivetrains are really susceptible to proper B gap.
Okay.
And one thing to note, guys, is when you put that tool on there, I usually aim the arrow to the back of the screw because you're supposed to adjust for sag.
Let me see real quick. Where's the tool at?
Right here.
You're saying when you put this tool on,
I arrow towards this part being on. Oh, it's not gonna work. Here, let me get it in the right gear here. Yeah. So in other words, when this is on, I have that arrow sit towards you'll notice I have it towards the back of the screw instead of smack dab in the center.
Oh, okay. So the arrow right there is kind of towards the back of that screw versus,
so what we found, at least at the bike shop, is instead of having to have a second person sit on the bike on the ground and squat the suspension to adjust for sag, because when it's sagged, it should be dead center. If you aim to the back of that bolt, 9 times out of 10, it's perfect under sag. So we've never had an issue with doing it that way. So just kind of an at-home trick without having a second person.
Heck yeah. And if you guys are ever in town, definitely stop by Zach's bike. This is Zach Rowley right here. He's one of the pro mechanics there. A guy will hook you up. Always takes care of my bikes. I'm pretty good at working on my bikes myself. Just good enough to get myself into trouble. Then I bring it into Zach to have him fix it for me. Yeah. Also, bonus, we changed out the shifter. We changed it back to the stock shifter that came on this because we had this one on there, and it was kind of missing that button. This is actually technically like an upgrade, right?
It's the new T-type shifter.
Oh, that's the new T-type shifter.
Yeah, but it's backwards compatible with all AXS devices, so
I don't know if I liked it that much.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more ergonomic.
I like the ergonomics on that one because this one's a little bulky and my thumb will sometimes hit it.
Okay.
So, but to fix that, you can just move the shifter over a little bit.
Okay.
So.
Well, we're going back to the stock one that comes on the GX. I still think, to be honest with you, I still feel like I like this one better on, sorry, I know the lighting's horrible in here, you guys. I like the one on the Wheeltop just a little bit better as far as like the buttons. This one's a little bit textured on the top, this one on the bottom, but got that bike, got it all adjusted, got the wireless shifting set up as good as we can. So now let's get out, do the back-to-back shift test, figure out if the Wheeltop EDS actually performs better or if I just had it set up wrong. SRAM GX versus Wheeltop EDS, let's get it. All right. Sun kind of went down on us. We're gonna have to get a little bit creative. I'm gonna go down my driveway. I'll shift around just a little bit in the street. Zach will follow me out. The lighting probably won't be good enough out there, but then I'll come back up the driveway. Should be able to get good enough lighting in the driveway, and then I'll kind of talk about my shifting experience on the SRAM GX, and then we'll hop on with the Wheeltop EDS and just compare them real quick and see which one comes out on top. It's doing the same thing as like if I start to shift too much, then it's like starts to grind gears a little bit. But let me try it on the Wheeltop real quick, because I think the Wheeltop, I was shifting like normal, like how I normally do.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you want to get me real quick?
Yeah. You're still recording. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Let's do it with the Wheeltop. I don't know. I feel like just
smoother in general.
I get what you're saying. It's like, all right, so what Zach was kind of telling me is he was just like, on these electronic derailleur systems, you can't, like on a mechanical one, like this Shimano XT derailleur I took off, I'm used to just being able to like slap right through my gears even under load. But on these wireless ones, you kind of have to be just a little bit more gentle as you're shifting. You can't really just like slam through the gears that quick. And so that, you know, I'm gonna have to kind of get used to. But even still with that, you know, trying to be a little bit lighter on the pedals when I was shifting, I still feel like the Wheeltop was shifting better,
smoother, yeah,
right?
I agree. I feel like out on the trail, like when we take these out to Spence or something like that, when we go do another video on them,
yeah,
on the steep, chunky stuff where you're shifting a lot, I feel like the Wheeltop does do better under load than the AXS does.
Dang. All right, so you know, got the GX shifting as good as I can. Maybe I need to get a little bit more used to, you know, how to press on that shifter and how to like make sure I'm not crunching down on the gears a little bit too much when I shift. But I still think the Wheeltop comes out on top.
Agreed.
Yep. All right, see you, Zach. Thanks, man.
Later, man.
All right, if you guys have made it this far, once again, like and subscribe. At the end of the day, it's all about getting you guys stoked to go ride and have some fun, people. All right, Zach, and just real quick, so on the last video, if you guys didn't watch it, I was gonna have Zach in there and he was gonna talk about why he preferred the Wheeltop EDS and why he chose to keep that on his bike, and I'm keeping the SRAM GX AXS on mine. So what are the reasons? Like, you rode both of these back to back for how long?
I've ridden the GX AXS stuff, or just that generation AXS stuff, for the past 2 or 3 years, and have always liked it. Always felt like they could refine it better, which I was hoping we'd get in the T-Type, but I actually dislike the T-Type even more, which is kind of funny. But the EDS kind of ticked the boxes that I didn't like about the SRAM one. Like, haven't been too wild about either of the SRAM shifters, the T-Type or the pod ones. I just feel like they definitely feel good, but the ergonomics of just having that nice click and audible feel on this kind of gives you the mechanical feel of a shifter without the cable and housing.
On the EDS, right?
Yeah.
That's what I felt too.
Yeah, and then the big thing I noticed with the EDS is, you know, I've had my SRAM AXS stuff, like I said, for 3 years, and on every ride I'll at least have 1 or 2 shift hiccups. You know, not to be uncommon, could have worn chain, cassette, could be a whole bunch of things, but with the EDS, the past 3 months I've been riding it, I haven't had a single shift error. whatsoever, and the battery life on it has been phenomenal. I've only charged this thing once in the last 3 months of riding it.
That's
and
crazy.
That was just because I wanted to. I was still at 80% after almost 3 months of riding.
That's nuts.
So that's really cool about it. And then I feel like the clutch, even though it doesn't feel as strong, like just grabbing the derailleur and pulling it down, I noticed over the chattery stuff, it's a lot quieter than the SRAM drivetrain. I don't get nearly as much chain slap. So those two were kind of the big things I didn't like about the SRAM derailleur. Like, I wish the AXS stuff had adjustable clutch like a Shimano derailleur, to where you could just tighten it up and deal with the extra drag, but it'd be quiet over the chunky stuff. But they just haven't allowed that yet. I know the T-Type stuff has gotten a lot better in that aspect, but it's also, you know, $1,600 for a base level drivetrain for the T-Type stuff. So yeah, I'm all about, if it's cheap and works good, then it's good product. So
heck yeah.
And I was kind of surprised at how good the EDS app was. I mean, there's definitely some language issues with the app being a Chinese company translating to English, but it's just as good as the AXS app as far as adjustment and updates and all that kind of stuff. So that was cool to see. But yeah, that's kind of the reasons why I like the EDS better. But we'll see how it holds up long term.
Yep. Yeah, stay tuned, you guys. Future videos after we get this shifting comparison done. Long-term reviews coming from Zach. He's gonna be riding with the EDS on his, so he puts in like way more miles a week than me. So he's gonna be putting that thing through the ringer, putting it through plenty of laps, plenty of miles on it, and we'll give you guys a long-term review here on this channel. So now's a good time to like, subscribe. You guys know what to do.